Hi, I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Diane.
And we are Car Zombies. But unlike real zombies who obsess over brains, we obsess over our cars.
I've had my car for over 20 years. I want it to last another 20.
And I've had my car for 30 years. And I like, wait, today's the day you get to actually work on your car.
Yay!
You're fixing your brakes.
I'm fixing my brakes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is about time.
Let's jump right into it. Why don't you tell them why you're fixing your brakes, Diane?
Okay, I committed to fix the 14 broken items on my Mercedes. Last week we heard a scraping noise from the rear of my car. So Paul researched it and found out that it was the brakes. So
my job in this endeavor is to do the research. Her job is to do the fixes. So this time I went and watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I found the right things on how to fix her brakes. And then I went out and I bought the parts and I bought the tools needed. The only problem is I've never done this before. She's never done this before. So this should be really interesting.
that's right, we're the amateurs, not the pros. So please don't copy us.
Right. So why don't we get right into it? You want to talk about the tools?
Uh-oh, this can get expensive.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How many tools did you get?
A couple.
What did you get?
Well, I did buy this socket set. We needed sockets.
This whole thing's a socket set?
No, the socket set's just this top piece right here. But it's really, it's heavy too. It's got standard and metric. It's got ratchets. It's got everything we need. We're gonna have bolts, you know.
What's the rest of this?
Oh, the rest of this. This is empty. This is like so that we can put my socket set on top of it.
A holder.
No, but we could also, this is like a bunch of drawers. So we can open a drawer and put some more tools in the future in the drawers.
We don't have sponsors. We're paying for this out of our own pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, at least we're not paying Mercedes anymore. We just now paying Home Depot instead. This is a long-term investment.
Just like my shoes.
Okay.
What else did you buy?
I bought this breaker bar. It's like a ratchet for a socket, only it's so big, it makes it real easy to break those hard to get bolts. Unfortunately, it only fits sockets that are bigger than the ones that I just bought. So we'll have to borrow from the neighborhood dude if we ever have to use it. But when we need it, it'll be really pays off.
Does it fit in your nice tool chest here?
It's too big. I need a new tool chest.
No. How much was that?
$50.
$50.
At Home Depot.
What else did you buy?
I bought this torque bit set. We needed a T30 torque bit and we don't have one.
How much did that cost?
This was only $15 on Amazon. It's a pretty fair deal. We'll use it on a lot of car projects, I promise.
Okay. What else did you buy?
I bought a torque wrench. Remember we needed one when we were doing the oil change and we tried to use an old one and we had problems? This will help us out in future oil changes and all kinds of projects. And there's a couple of things we have to torque on this project.
How much was that?
That was $32 on Amazon.
What else did you get?
I bought this brake pad spreader. At some point, we're gonna have to spread the brake pads, take out the old ones, and have room for the new ones that are gonna be bigger.
How much was that?
That was only $9. That was a cheap one on Amazon.
Is there anything else?
Yes, we do need some more tools, but they're tools we already own.
Oh.
The first thing we need is I found the 17 millimeter socket that will fit on this breaker bar, so we can use that to break the wheel bolts. Also, since we don't have any of those fancy air hose tools that go and rip off the wheel bolts, we're going to use a ratchet for that. We're also going to need the floor jack that we bought for the last project and the rubber thing that protects the car from getting scratched. And it's low profile, so they'll fit under your car, Di.
I love this tool. I know what's next.
What?
Jack stand.
You're right.
For cleaning, we need a wire brush and a nylon brush. I got this from my golf bag.
And there's a pin we have to punch out. So we're gonna need a punch and a hammer. And since you're doing the job, Di, I got a Diane hammer as well.
It's a little bitty thing. So cute. We also need a pry tool and screwdrivers to remove the brake pads.
We don't know if that pry tool would work, but they said you could pry with screwdrivers. So I got a couple of old screwdrivers there. And the last thing we need is a bungee cord to hang the caliper on so that it doesn't hang on the brake line hose. Now let's talk about the special parts we had to purchase for this project.
Uh-oh, they're Mercedes parts.
Yeah. The first thing we're going to replace is your rotors. And the reason we're replacing your rotors is the rotor is the thing your brake pad grabs. When your brake pad gets so low you hear the metal on metal scratching, you're probably destroying your rotor. So we do need new rotors. We could also have our existing ones refinished, but these were only $50 each at the local Mercedes dealer. So I think that these would be better for us. We also had a shimmying problem when we were braking. That may be because your rotor got bent or something maybe at some point.
Ooh.
So we're hoping that the new rotors might actually fix that as well. I think the $100 investment, since we're in there taking them apart, is worth it. Plus, they come in this gray primer paint to probably protect it from rusting. And they were delivered to me just like you see them here. The service parts department guy just handed them to me and said, here's your rotors. And I'm like, really? That's how they're delivered? But apparently that's how it's done. That's what he says. And so we're gonna trust it and put them on.
Sounds good. Brake pads.
That's right. The brake pads are what hold your rotor to grab the rotor so that that slows down your wheel. And we're gonna put new ones on. These are what wear out over time. We've never opened this before. Here, Di. Set of brake pads. Probably shouldn't touch the inside part. They say that,
What's the inside?
well, the part that's gonna grind.
Oh,
So don't touch that. But basically, that's what brake pads look like, I guess. And so it would grab the rotor on both sides and slow your car down. That's kind of neat. I can't wait to put these in.
you're not putting in the brake pads. I am.
Okay. You get no credit for doing research. The next thing is the brake cream. It's a Mercedes product, and what it is a lubricant that can handle high temperatures, and it goes on the back of the brake pad, not the part that touches the rotor, but the back side, and it prevents squealing. It was $32 at the local Mercedes dealer. And that's all the parts I had to buy for this project. So about $100 in rotors, $100 in brake pads, and $32 for brake cream that will last the rest of my life. Now let's talk about the supplies we use. These are things that you kind of use up over time, but on a lot of projects. Di, what about for the cleaning? What do you need for that?
For cleaning, we're going to need paper towels, gloves, and masks.
We need the mask because the brake dust is really fine and they say it's really damaging for you, so you're never supposed to blow it. You use a certain kind of cleaner called brake cleaner to clean your brakes. The brake cleaner is good because it doesn't leave a oily residue, because you don't want your brakes to slip at all once you get them all done. But you do want it to get that fine dust out of the air and off the brakes. We also need WD-40 potentially, just in case there's a bolt or something that's too tight to take off. With the WD-40, we're going to be real careful to keep it away from any of the brake parts because we don't want to oil the brakes. And we're going to use some anti-seize compound between the wheel and the rotor so that in the future, if we change the rotor again, we can pull it off easily. We're also going to use a thread locker, put a little bit of this on the end of the bolts so that when we put them in, they stay tight after they're put in, because there's a lot of vibration around the brake parts and you don't want that vibration to cause the bolts to become loose over time.
That scares me.
Yeah, you don't want your bolts falling off, especially on your brakes. And the last thing we may need is brake fluid, and I'll cover why in the next section.
Sounds good. Is there anything else?
That's it, let's go do it.
All right. We started by checking the brake fluid level. Later, when we're spreading the brake pads, it may cause overflow into the reservoir. The current level's at max, but it looks like there's plenty of room, so we're going to keep an eye on it. Just in case, I'm going to leave it open and put a paper towel here so it can soak up any excess. We're also going to leave the hood open so we can check on it later. Never used one of these before. The next step is to jack up the car. Watch our video on jacking up the car for more details. That video calls for loosening the wheel bolts before jacking up the car. For this, I use the 17mm socket with the breaker bar. This isn't going in at all. I've never used a socket, ratchet, or a breaker bar in my life, so it was awkward.
Swing it all the way up. Swing it. Swing it like unfold it. There you go.
Oh.
All the way back up, keep going.
Oh, that's cool.
See how that works?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay. Next, I chalked up the front wheels and jacked up the car on its differential until it was high enough to put down the jack stand. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, this is the scary part. We never figured this part out, so just do the best you can, slow as you can. You okay?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's scary.
You know what, in the future, also stand so that you don't get impelled by the jack
Oh,
stand
yeah,
if it
that's a
goes
good
backwards.
idea.
Here's the socket from the breaker bar, 17mm. There's the ratchet. You have to push the button on the back to put them together. Look at that, you did it right off.
Yeah, it was no problem.
If the wheel nuts are that loose, you could take the ratchet off of the socket and just spin it with your hand. You follow what I'm saying?
Like put,
No.
no, what do you mean?
Just take the socket off the ratchet.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then
could do that. I'll just use this. It's easier.
Okay.
Put those in a safe place.
Yes, ma'am. If you get them all loose, you could, like I said, just turn it, spin it without the whole handle thing.
Like this?
You could do that too. There, you see how that works?
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, you could take off the handle and just use the socket itself.
Mm-hmm. Probably do that.
Is that easier?
Yeah. A lot easier. Well, I'm gonna have to get this last bolt out, but the wheel's moving.
Okay. I'll hold the wheel, take the bolt out.
Moving. There. Paul helped to hold the wheel, but it came off hard. There we go. It turns out we did this wrong. We'll show you the correct way to remove the wheel when we take off the other wheel. Yet another step the pros left out.
So we're gonna set the wheel
Oh,
like this, and hopefully it won't bump into the... Holy smokes, we did need a new rotor.
so is that the scratching right there?
Yeah. On the front, there's a sensor that'll tell you when it's low. But for some reason, your car doesn't have a sensor on the back to tell you that the brake pads are getting thin. So we didn't know we needed to change it. That sucks.
Until we heard the scraping.
And we're in the rotor. Okay, here's what we got. This is the rotor that we're going to replace, and here you can see it has definitely been scratching, which means the brake pad is worn all the way off. This is a caliper. It holds the brake pads. There's a spring mechanism here we're going to take off, pull out the brake pads, then we're going to take off 2 bolts in the back, take off the caliper, then we're going to take off 1 bolt here, take off the rotor, and then we're going to, maybe in the process of taking off the rotor, we may or may not have to deal with the emergency brake. Once we get the rotor off, we'll put a new one on and reset the emergency brake and get it all set up. Okay?
Sounds kind of easy. All right, got it.
Okay, this is great. Let's put it under here.
The brake dust is very dangerous to breathe, even for Paul. Wear a mask too.
I'm going to be out back here taking pictures. I promise I won't get any close to dust. Woman. Are you serious?
I'm
Oh, man.
I don't want you breathing in that.
All right.
I used a wire brush to clean the caliper, then sprayed the brake cleaner on the caliper and the rotor. Oh, there's a Mercedes logo on here.
Just want to get some of that brake dust off of it.
Brake cleaner works by adhering to the grease and dust and dripping it off on the cardboard. It also evaporates quickly so that it doesn't leave anything on the parts you spray.
All right, that should be fine.
Paul measured how far the pin stuck out and got 1/4 of an inch. Now we know how far to put the pin back in
See
later.
how it kind of looks like it's cupped around the rotor?
Yeah, it looks like there's like a whale tail here.
Yeah, the well tail on the bottom with the angle of it is kind of to cup the rotor, so it wouldn't be like this, it would be like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So I just hit it first, right? Just like this?
I suppose you could. Try using the punch, it's easier to hit.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's much easier.
It's going through already?
Yeah, it's going through. So I hold it like this.
Do you need me to help you?
Just watch it. It's coming through the other side. Oh, it's just going right through.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do, all the way through.
It's not long enough.
Okay, let me give you a long nail.
Can we get the nail back out? Yeah. We found an easier way to remove the pin on the other wheel.
You got it.
Yay!
That was a little harder than we expected.
Yeah.
Nobody had to do it that way.
It's kind of dirty, that's why.
Oh, okay. Okay, I put about 1 inch of hot water in the bottom of this.
Okay, good.
How much Dawn you think?
That's good. There's more so there's the rotor right there. There's the brake pad, and I'm trying to get it in between.
Can you? No?
There's no gap.
Okay, let's try the bigger pry tool and do something different.
Oh.
Or actually, oh, yeah, this one's good.
Okay, so I am.
Is it working?
Oh, they're just falling out, like this thing.
Yeah, pull it out.
But that's the inside.
Try the outer one again.
I can pull it out.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Ooh,
Holy
wow.
smokes.
Look at that. Where is the brake pad?
Holy smokes. That's one side and that's the other. Holy smokes.
There's nothing there.
There is no brake pad.
No.
Oh, that's so dangerous. I wonder what the other side's going. Just pull
I
it.
should have pried the pistons all the way back, but more on that later. Do you want me to put it outside with the other one? It's also gone. It's completely
All right, hand it to me.
worn out.
Well, this one has some brake pad on it. And I'm gonna go check to see if the brake fluid got over-pried, if anything happened there. It looks absolutely the
Yeah.
same.
The pro said to use an 18mm socket to remove the back two bolts holding the caliper in.
No, that's it. Oh, back there. Let's get you a smaller socket.
Yeah. I'm not great at ratchets and sockets, and I didn't want to risk putting my head under the car in case it fell, so I had to feel for the bolt.
Unscrewing?
It was hard.
That easy?
Is that it?
You kind of have to hold it with your hand so that it doesn't turn the other way. So hold the socket from turning back. There you go.
I kept turning it for a long time. Finally, after 5 minutes, I had to ask Paul for help. Just want you to feel what it's like here.
You want me to try it?
Yeah.
That's the wrong size socket.
Turns out we needed a 16mm socket. I thought it didn't work.
Okay.
All right, it's the wrong size. And now this should be the right size. So lift up.
Yep. Don't hurt yourself.
I can't do it.
Okay. What size was that? 16mm?
I don't know.
Let me go to the neighborhood dude. See if he has a 16mm. We'll use our breaker bar on it, okay?
Okay.
Well, Di, do you want me to break it, or would you rather get a longer tool so in the future we don't have to deal with this?
Well, I think you would love to have a longer tool.
I've been trying, the reality is I've been trying to talk her into it since this happened. I would love to break this for you. You know I love doing hard labor.
Yes.
Just, you look at all the concrete work and everything, but the reality is I feel like I don't want to let you down. I will do it if you can't get it, but if you have the wrong tool, you can't get it. I just kind of feel like let's get the right tool. We're going to have this problem again in the future.
Yeah, we might use it again. So
we're going to head to Home Depot, buy the right tool, come back, and then try to do this again with the right tool. And if it doesn't work for you then I'll do it for you, okay?
Okay.
You didn't hurt yourself, did you?
Not at all.
Yeah, okay. So it's not like we're overstressing you or anything.
Okay. Please watch part 2 to see what happens next. It was funny.
Too bad it didn't work.
I'm ready to do my zombie.
You're practicing? No practicing.